That might have been the longest 2 weeks of my life that we just took off.
Yeah,
It
I
was
feel like it flew by for me.
it was supposed to be nice and relaxing, and instead it's just been like bah.
You sound a little buh.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. Welcome to a conversation with Judy and Ryan right here on YouTube at takeabreathpod. Also check us out on Twix, on TikTok, on Instagram, wherever you want to do the socials at takeabreathpod. Yeah, we had taken the last couple weeks off so that, just to refresh, revitalize, reinvigorate, all the R's. And yeah, long story short, I got fired from my job.
Yeah.
And it was really just the most bewildering thing that's ever happened to me, because look, I think we've all lost a job or left a job because we knew that the writing was on the wall or whatever. This was not like that. I walked into work one day and I was told that I no longer had a job. So that was really cool. Let's give you the full story. Going back a couple months ago, and I haven't brought this up on the show just because we're still dealing with everything, but a couple months ago, the EP was diagnosed with cancer. And it's something, like I said, that we're dealing with every single day, that we are just trying to, get through the way that it affects our lives and all that stuff. Something that tons of people have done in the past. I thought that I was dealing with the stress of that fine. I didn't think that it was causing me to act any sort of way, but apparently the tension of that had been getting to me. And as a result, my attitude at work had not been the best, according to my former employer. So fast forward to my last day at work, I walk in and he does the thing where he's like, hey, before you log in, come into my office, close the door. And I'm like, okay, I'm probably in trouble for something. I don't know what it could be, but he's probably going to be like, you need to step up in this area or do this or whatever. And he told me that my attitude had been so poor over the last couple weeks that he was just going to let me go. And I don't per se disagree with that statement. If someone has a bad attitude at work, then they shouldn't be working there. But I also, like I said, I was just dumbfounded because I had never gotten any warnings. I had never been written up for anything. It was, as far as I was concerned, everything was hunky-dory. And then next thing I know, no, that's not the case. And also, and I'm not saying I deserve any special treatment because of this, but for full context, I had also let him know what was going on in my life. So, for him to have just done that, it's really just made me kind of lose my trust and faith in people, and of course in the workplace in general, because like I've told you guys on this show many times, I really did think that he was an awesome person to work for. I really did think that he actually cared about his employees. And now all of that just goes out the window. And there's other things like that I've learned from this that I probably should have been better about. So, I do think that I was probably too open and honest with him about, even though I would be doing it with kid gloves and being like, yeah, do you think that this is a job where I can buy a house? And telling him, like, you know, when I found out that the EP had gotten the diagnosis, I was freaking out, and I was like, I probably have to start looking for a new job that'll pay me more. But not like, fuck this job, it sucks, it's not doing anything for me. Just like trying to be open and honest with him.
Right.
Like I would hope that he would have wanted, rather than just like one day being like, deuces, I'm out. And yeah, and all that, just like I said, it went out the window, and he let me go. And yeah, it bugs me so much that I live in a place where you're able to just fire somebody that easily, no warning, no nothing, just GTFO.
Right.
And those are the laws that we have. I'm not trying to complain about the laws, but at the same time, it does just suck that I can show up to, like, I didn't miss any days. The only time that I had requested to be leaving for a day, because she has a biopsy coming up, is the upcoming. It's next week. So, you know, like, it just, like I said, it just really, it bothers me. And
yeah,
it also makes me feel like, well, what's the fucking point of trying at all now? Like, you know, and I'm sure that at some point I'll have another boss and I'll be like, yeah, this person's good. But I mean, still at the same time, the one thing I've learned for sure is that I'm just not going to be honest and open with my employers anymore.
Right.
There's zero benefit from my perspective. I have been looking for a new job. I feel like I've had 50 interviews this week. I did get one offer, but that one has me very tentative. It's a sales job, and so obviously it's going to be performance based.
Yeah.
You know, but there's training and everything, and the base salary isn't that great. It's bad. It's bad. Is what it is. And so, you know, you have to wait through all the training, and then you can start hopefully selling. So that has me just really uneven, to say the very least, because it's also like, well, do I just take this and then hope that something else comes along that I actually want to do? Or do I just keep looking for something else? And I mean, the smart play is probably just take the job, right? But at the same time, with the salary being as low as it is, and this job is actually going to cost me more money because it's about 30 minutes away, which is a fine commute. I'm not complaining about that, but it's about 30 minutes away. And I have to start putting Asher into morning Safe Key, which is the before school program, because it starts earlier. The job hours are fine. It's 8 to 5. It's nothing terrible, but his school doesn't actually go until 9. So I'd have to start putting, you know, so those are all factors that I'm trying to consider. And yeah, I feel really, really just lost at the moment with all this stuff. So yeah, if my energy doesn't seem the way it normally does, I really do apologize. I am just trying to sift through the ashes that my life has become over the last couple weeks, which is a great time to beg. So if you want to join our Patreon, if you want to be on the ticker, you know, feel free. $5 a month gets you on that at TABPOD. That doesn't sound too desperate.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We understand.
So, and like I said, I've been on all these interviews, and a lot of these jobs are just, look, I'm not trying to sit here and say that I don't want to work hard, that I don't want to hustle and all that stuff, but it's a lot of like commission only type stuff, or door-to-door sales or, all these things. So I'm going to keep looking, obviously, but I'm just in a weird headspace, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that when you mentioned it, she got fired. I go, wow. Like, we literally took this break to just take time to, like, reset and chill and get back into, like, doing this. But then that hits you, and I'm like, stop. Like, that did not just happen that way. Like,
Yeah.
I really couldn't believe it. And
No, honestly, I couldn't believe it either.
it's wild.
I do have theories because, like, honestly, look, if I'm just being 100% about it and I'm not trying to not take accountability for it, because I understand if my behavior or attitude wasn't the best. I'm not trying to say that it was the best and I was cheery all the time. No, I'm not trying to say any of that. But what I will say is I honestly thought that I was dealing with it in a way that wasn't detrimental to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And look, the reason that I'm upset that I didn't ever get a warning or anything is because I was never given a chance to correct the behavior. Like, that's to me the biggest thing, is that I feel like everyone should get at least, unless you do something like you steal from the company or, something like you came in drunk, something like that.
Right.
I feel like everybody should get at least one chance for them to be like, hey, your attitude sucks. We need you to not do this because it could affect the clients or whatever, and fix it. And like I said, I didn't get that chance. So my thought process on it, and this is not just what I've thought, this is what other people have told me as well, is that most likely I got fired because the business isn't doing as great as he would probably want it to be doing right now, with, everybody trying to move to other companies because the rates are so high and all that stuff. And rather than just say, hey, I can't afford to really do this right now, he, came up with something else. And I'm sure that it's a combination of everything,
Right.
But this thing keeps falling on me. Mike, stay in place, please. So yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
So we'll see what the next adventure of my life is.
There'll be something if any of y'all in Vegas are looking for a new employee.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
At TABPOD. Just give me.
I hit up my friends, but none of them had any openings in their current positions. And also my other friends live out here, so you also can't really work
it. I appreciate it.
Which it's funny, not funny, but funny that I was telling Keith the other day, I go, no one is applying for my position, like at my current job that I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith was like, too bad Ryan doesn't live here. He goes, you should tell him to move. I go, he can't. We already discussed this.
Yeah. This stupid kid. This stupid kid keeps me here. God damn it. And I even tried finding like remote jobs and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's not a ton of remote jobs available, but I did find it was really interesting. There's a couple sites out there that they like exclusively will find you remote work, but you have to pay them a monthly subscription. Like,
right.
What?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
They're basically like us remote staffing agency, which is it's ridiculous. Don't fall for those, please.
I didn't. I was like, no, I'm too poor to pay someone to help me find a job right now. I can't do that.
If all worst comes to like push, right? So would you be interested in looking through like a staffing agency? I don't know how those work, like temp work, like temp to perm. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how I mean, if I would have no issue doing that, right? I think that the only thing for me is like, would a staffing agency get you a good paying job? That's my question.
Typically, yes. So like, okay, so for instance, right now my boss is looking into temps to fill in my position because we haven't gotten applications. I looked at the rate of pay that they're giving or they're offering these temps. And at least for an executive assistant, it's like $40 an hour. So
what? Okay.
Like although it's like they're paying the temp $40 an hour, they're billing the company like $55 an hour. So that's how they get their profits for using their temp agency. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so if that's something you're into, if you want to get into like admin work.
I've been trying. I've been applying at admin places all over the place. Like, yeah, I've like I said, I probably put in last week. I haven't done it because I've been interviewing so much. So I didn't do many applications this week. Last week, I probably did 150 apps. You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I will check out the staffing agency thing though. That does seem like, because to me, I always just thought
somewhere.
Yeah, I always just thought that with a staffing agency, excuse me, that they would just find you like some $12 an hour job.
Well, obviously they'll ask you like your skills, what you're good at, and hopefully they'll match you somewhere in like the price range that you're looking for. The only thing that sucks is that most staffing agencies don't offer health insurance, or they don't offer much benefits at all because you're just a temp and they don't really offer anything to temps.
Right.
But there are some that do give you you're basically like their employer or their employee, like that staffing agency, and they'll give you benefits. So there's just different ones out there. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right, no, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, enough about me and the sad pants of a man that I am. You and Keith got into an interesting conversation over a party.
Yes.
And I want you to tell me this whole story because you just gave me the cliff notes on it. So how was this like a full on argument or was it just like?
No, it was an argument. He mentioned something in passing so let me just tell a story. So a couple weeks ago, we went to a friend's 40th birthday party. And, we were all having fun, whatever. When Keith and I were leaving, I was like, oh, two of their friends didn't come. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they were like busy or if they were working or something. And he's like, oh, no, the husband was working, so the wife didn't come. He's like, I think it's weird that, at all of these parties of like their group of friends, whenever this couple, like the husband is working, the wife never comes, period. He's like, I think that's weird. I think she should still come. And I was like, I don't know. I would feel awkward if I was to go to one of your friends' parties without you.
So
like without Keith. So I'm like,
right. No. So yeah, I know you'd be afraid to go to a party without me, right? So this group of friends, the husband is the friend.
Yes, the husbands are friends, essentially, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I see it on both sides, honestly. Look, because especially as myself, as the introverted extrovert that I am, like if there was I don't want to go to the parties normally anyway. So if the person who's normally the invited is not going, then I'm definitely probably not going to go. I guess it would just depend, I should say, on how long the wife has also known all of you guys, like how long these parties or hangouts have been going on for, for me to say, yeah, that's fine or not. So like, yeah, how long has she been, or how has this been going for?
I mean, I guess I don't know how long they've been married, but I mean, they probably been married for like 10-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
And they've all been groups of friends for that long. Like Keith was roommates with the husbands when they were in college. So they've all known each other for a while.
Okay, yeah. So
but the wife probably not. So I don't know. I don't know how long the wife has been in there.
But Keith and these friends have probably known her since like girlfriend / fiance / wife. So
like all their kids play soccer together type thing. Yeah. Like they all hang out.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, in that scenario, I would probably agree more with, I think this is what Keith said, but I probably agree with him saying that she should just come. Because, like, at that point, you're just part of the friend group. It's not his group of friends that you just all, you know, you've been associated with long enough. Right. Yeah, so then I just go back to my original thing is that she just didn't want to go out, and she used that as an excuse. She was like, you know, it's been a long day. I just got fired for my bad attitude, so I'm just going to not go out tonight.
And I was telling Keith, too, I go, well, you have to think about it, because they also have 2 young kids. That means she's by herself, needing to watch these 2 kids while trying to enjoy the party also. And I'm like, no,
I didn't even think about the kid. Yeah, because when you say young kids, what are the ages?
Like 2nd grade and kindergarten, 1st grade.
Okay, yeah. So that makes it tough. That makes it real tough. And especially, and you're at a party, if you're any kind of responsible adult with forget 2 kids, with just the 1 kid, it keeps you kind of preoccupied. Now you got the 2, you got to the whole time. Right. No, just like keep them corralled at the house. That's a lot easier.
Yeah, and then I was telling Keith, I go, so you're saying you're going to go to my friend's party without me? He's like, probably, if you wanted me to go. I was like, oh, okay.
He's the life of the party, man. Of course he'll go. He doesn't care. He's everybody's best friend. What are you talking about?
There we go.
I think you're a little upset that he would go without you, though. You seem a little...
I was like, wait, how dare you?
You see, this is the issue.
I can't go. You stay here with me.
This is the issue with like kind of the way that females argue, is that you asked him the question and then you got mad that he gave you the answer.
Yes. He gave me the wrong answer.
But he's just trying to be like, yeah, we're all friends. What's the issue? Like, no. Come on, Judy. Let him go hang out with your friends. Let him get his nails painted, okay? Good Lord.
Yeah, so that was just interesting. I was like, okay.
I'm trying to think of like why is that such a big deal for him to go and hang out with your friends if you're not able to?
I don't
like
know.
If you're not if you're like sick at home, right?
Right.
And
like,
you would want him taken care. I'm saying you get stuck at work and there's a barbecue and it's your friend group throwing the barbecue. Why would you be upset if he went without you?
I don't know. That's probably my FOMO. Like he gets to enjoy this.
Okay, honestly, I can't disrespect the truth right there. Yeah, I get it. Okay,
like something's cool to happen, and I know it, and I'm not gonna be there for this.
He's like, "Oh my God, you missed it! This thing, there was a glitter bomb the size of a baby."
Exactly. That's exactly what he will tell me too.
Oh my God. FOMO really screwed us over. All right. I did have over the couple of weeks that we took off, I found a couple of Am I Overreactings, but this one seems to be the best that I've come across. So, okay. Am I overreacting? Husband paused. Sorry. Let me start over. Am I overreacting? Husband paused being angry for sex. My husband and I went out to dinner with friends and our teenagers. My youngest had been pushing my buttons all day, and I snapped at him at the table. We went back and forth for a bit. The subject was changed. I was angry, so I spent a few minutes on my phone until I cooled down. Then I rejoined the conversation, and everything was smooth after that. My husband was understandably mad at me. I admit my behavior was not great. We drove home, the incident wasn't brought up, and I went to bed as it was pretty late. He came to bed later on. In the middle of the night, he initiated sex. That was great. We cuddled a bit after and went back to sleep. The next morning, when he woke up, he was noticeably cold and distant and quickly left for work. Same when he came home. I asked him what was wrong, and he blew up, telling me how angry he was with me about my behavior at dinner, and he can't believe I didn't apologize. I was confused about how upset he was with me since he initiated sex in the middle of the night. I told him I was confused and hurt over his level of anger since he seemed to stop being mad when he wanted sex and then went back to being angry once he had gotten what he wanted. If I was angry with him, I wouldn't initiate sex and then resume being angry once it was over. I feel very used. It's like he completely separated sex from emotions. I'm also having a difficult time articulating why this has bothered me so badly. I've been sleeping in the guest room since. I told him I feel like he treated me like a random hole to use when he was horny instead of someone he was in a relationship with. Am I overreacting?
Wow.
Yeah, that one hits hard.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll let you go.
Okay, I think she's reacting just fine, in my opinion. And I don't know. I mean, what was she supposed to apologize for blowing up on her son for being a dick? I don't, that's what I'm seeing on his end. Did he feel embarrassed in front of friends that happened?
I mean, so she admits in the story that her behavior was not the best at dinner, right? So we could just assume that whatever the cause was, she was, because sometimes, I don't know, maybe she just, because she said her oldest, so let's say the oldest is a teenager, and rather than just being like, look, you little dude, you need to shut up and just stop because you're going to piss me off and it's going to turn to a whole thing. If she indulged into it and then it's like embarrassing in front of the friends and all that stuff.
Okay, fine. Right? But still.
So I agree. I think that she is reacting properly. I do think that the husband probably had a right, especially since she apologized so quickly, to be upset about it. But that is a really confusing thing to have. The only time that it's not confusing is when you have that angry sex, when both parties, like, you've been fighting and it turns into sex, and then afterwards you're like, you either feel better about it or you're just like, nah, that just got me ramped up more.
Like, I need to go for a run now.
Yeah, exactly. But I do feel like this scenario is, because same thing, like she said, he had sex with her and then he decided to be angry about it the next day still. Like, I have a feeling that honestly what happened was he thought he was going to have the sex, right? And then she would be so happy afterwards that she would just instantly be like, hey, sorry about earlier, blah, 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 right? And then she didn't. And then went to sleep, and he was just there staring at her in her sleep like, oh, you bitch, how dare you not apologize? I just gave you the best sex ever for no reason. How dare you go to sleep? Yes, and now you're just gonna go to sleep without apologizing? Oh, right.
And because it's just normally been stewing all night.
Yeah, because if you wake up upset, it's normally you didn't wake up that way. It's because you went to bed that way, right? So yeah, that's what I think probably happened, is he was like, you know what? I'm horny. Let's put this to the side. Maybe it'll get her to calm down. And then she'll apologize for what happened. And then she was like, she finished, she cuddled, she slept. And now he knows what it's like to have sex with a man. So That's honestly, that's if I had to guess as to why that, because yeah, sex is an emotional thing, right? You shouldn't be able to turn off emotions. I'm not able to anyway. Turn off emotions just to, get it wet.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Or maybe they had he had this idea at dinner, was like, oh yeah, we gonna get some tonight, and then that happened, and he's like, damn, but I still wanted to get some tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, if it was just as simple as he was angry, but he was able to emotionally turn that, because the thing, I can understand him emotionally turning off for sex if she initiated it. Right? If he gets into the bed and then she initiates sex and he's like, all right, I'll turn this off, but I'm still mad. Right? Then I get it. But the fact that he was the one who was like, yeah, let's do this. That's why it's like, there's got to be something that I'm missing in the entire situation. There's got to be something where he had a thought in his head that something was going to go a certain way. Yeah. It didn't go that way, and it turned into a much bigger thing as a result. So
I think so too. It just makes sense that way. He's just been stewing on it all night. That's why he woke up and stormed out and whatever he did.
The thing that's crazy to me, she's now sleeping in another bedroom.
Yeah, damn, y'all need to go to couples counseling or something.
That's divorce phase 1, okay?
What are you doing here? He's still upset. Oh my god. There has to be something deeper at this point.
I bet you was like, but it was good sex, right? Why are you in a different room? You enjoyed it. Oh my God. All right. Well, I think we have both decided she is reacting.
Yes, appropriately.
Appropriately, yes. All right. That'll do it for the first half of this episode. When we come back, we'll talk about more stuff. Hopefully happier stuff than we talked about in the first half. But I make no guarantees, okay? It's my life now, and you're just a part of it. This is a conversation with Judy and Ryan. Woo! I forgot about the woos. It's been too long. Welcome back to A Conversation with Judy and Ryan right here on YouTube at TABPOD. Please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. I forgot. I know that I said no more sad stories, right? The one thing I did forget to say, because this isn't sad. This is angry. This has been fueling me. As I was leaving that day from the office, I said goodbye to the other coworkers in the office. I packed up my desk, and as I was leaving, do you want to know how my former boss said goodbye to me?
How?
He said, quote unquote, appreciate you. And I was just like, really? That's what you're going to say? It made me feel like anytime he had ever said that was just fucking him being completely disingenuous. Who says I appreciate you after you fire somebody?
Right. No.
Oh God. All right, sorry. Yeah. I remembered that in the break, so I just wanted to say that real quick. Now that I've gotten us completely off track, Judy's been going through the threads, and she found a couple things. She found a couple of things that might be interesting.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been trying to get more into threads, and I think they only catch me. Or they caught me because they would put it on Instagram where it's the first 2 lines of the threads. And I was like, oh, now I have to go into it so I can see what it is. And it opens up threads. I was like, damn it, that's how they catch me with these stupid threads.
So before you get started, I was asking you in the break, I was like, should I get on threads? And the reason is just because Twix is cool. But there's a lot of bots. There's so many bots. And then you have to deal with, look, whether it's about his politics or whatever, Elon be saying some out of pocket stuff all the time. And I don't know. So I think I might be needing to open up a Threads account.
Maybe. Yeah. From what I've noticed in the few times that I've been roaming through it, it's very different from Twix. It's a lot more like these different situations or questions that they ask. But there's also people who I don't even follow them and I don't know how they pop up on like, and they're like, oh, if you're in Dallas or like single ladies, like, what do y'all do out in Dallas? I was like, wait, how do y'all know? Like, how do you pop this in here? So I know I get
your location from all the info you gave them on Instagram. Come on. The thing that kills me about this isn't you, this is people in general. The thing that kills me about just the way that people are like, oh, I don't want my information tracked, or I don't want this, or I don't want that, right?
Yeah.
If you have a cell phone, I just want you to know, if you have a cell phone, then they most likely have enough info to be able to track your day-to-day activities just based on the not even a GPS tracking, just based on the information that you're using it for, right? I was watching a documentary one time. It was probably a YouTube video, let's be honest, but I'm going to say it was a documentary.
Okay.
And the guy said, you give me a cell phone and a credit card, and I will tell you, I will have that person's entire lifestyle mapped out within a week and a half. And it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, anytime, I don't even think the phone's listening to me anymore. I just think it's like, no, we've got enough data. We just know, we understand your brain patterns at this point. We just know what you want. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. Let me read you this one. It's a kind of longish one, but it says, how would you handle this situation? It says, my guy friend of 6 years moved to my city. We started hanging out more naturally. I introduced him to my best friend, a girl who I'd been friends with since college. She and I saw each other very often. Eventually, I introduced my guy friend and my girlfriend. For 5 months, we were a trio. It didn't matter if we stayed inside, we cooked, or went out to events. We always had the best time. Just us three. At the end of month 5, we were all out for drinks, and I stepped away to take a brief phone call. I came back right when their lips were separating. My reaction was, what was that? They jokingly gaslit me, saying, girl, you're drunk. What are you even talking about? I left it alone. The next day, it bothered me again. They said they'd felt this way for a while, but were nervous to tell me. I wasn't super fond of the idea, but we're all grown, and I'm not standing in the way of anyone's happiness. I just didn't want this to negatively affect our dynamic of their trio. Fast forward 7 months. So it's been a year. So it's month 5, and then now we're 7 months afterwards. Somehow in the middle of us making dinner and watching movies, my girlfriend caught guy friend in a lie that led to her finding out he cheated a few weeks back when he claimed to be visiting a sick relative. Guy friend didn't deny it. He said he felt smothered by girlfriend and went out with older cousins who introduced him to the girl he cheated with. I'm sitting there silent. Girlfriend, in her emotional rage, says, well, that's okay. I never told you about Lo, who is the girl talking's cousin.
Right.
So we're even. My cousin recently visited from NC and crashed in my house for a week. Apparently, girlfriend and my cousin spent some one-on-one time when I was asleep.
Sounds like girlfriend just wants to hook up with all of her guy friends,
and relatives. She came to me the next day, snot-nosed crying, saying she felt so bad for it. Now guy friend feels betrayed because I knew, and girlfriend doesn't believe that I didn't know about the girl he cheated with, since guy friend tells me everything.
Ugh.
How would you handle this situation?
I would get new friends, to be quite honest. I mean, this is one of those things. So I'm not going to try and make it a sexist thing when I say this next part, right?
Okay.
But in this scenario, I might drop the girlfriend. And I say that because she hooked up with my guy friend, and she also hooked up with my cousin. So she's going around anytime I introduce a Y chromosome, she's hooking up with that person. So that's why there might be some extra drama associated with being her friend.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, it's just this is going to be one of those weird times where you're most likely going to have to choose a friend. And you don't want to. You want to just be Switzerland and be unbiased and be like, oh. And you probably can do that to a degree. It just you have to be really mentally strong in order to do that, because the other person's going to bring up the other person and vice versa all the time. And you just have to be like, no, we're not talking about that. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's messy. That's so messy.
It is so messy. And I was reading like the comments of, what people are saying. And one of them was like, girl, maybe you shouldn't be friends with cheaters. I don't know what to tell you. Like, okay, I see it. But like at the same time,
what do you want to do? Have a checklist when she meets somebody? Have you ever cheated on your significant other? Oh, you have? I thought this was going to work out as a friendship, but not anymore. Like,
could you imagine?
What's your credit score? Like, what are we doing?
Like, are we dating our friends now too? Like,
I mean, you can meet them on Bumble, so.
Bumble BFF. Is that still around? Is that still a thing?
I think so, because I keep seeing the stupid commercials that just say anything you want. Like, I can't go on there, obviously, because someone will come and chop my dick off. But
you're like, but I'm looking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a new BFF. Now she's staring at me like, you don't need no BFFs. I'm your fucking BFF.
I was just saying, I'm the only BFF you need.
Exactly. You're over here, Keith, don't go to parties. Meanwhile, he's on Bumble looking for friends.
But yeah, so I just, oh God, good. And then somebody said, like, this is why I would have just separated myself from this friend group. Like, y'all too cute, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the, it's tough, right? Because you want to be a good friend, and from what she said, it sounded like she was even like, I don't think this is a good, I could be misinterpreting it, right? But she was like, I don't think this is a good idea, and they just still were like, we're gonna go for it. You can't stop people from being adults and you know, doing their own thing. But yeah, I mean, good Lord, just.
Anyways, that's
I just like how he cheated and then she cheated and they're still mad at each other for cheating. Like that's the thing that is so funny to me. Where why are you upset? Not why are you upset about that it happened, but it's to me it's just obvious that you're both, for whatever reason, just not getting what you need from the other person. So it's pretty standard to just be like, let's just stop, you know. Yeah. But no, they're so toxic. They're just like, no, we'll be angry. I
mean, and granted, they're probably young. Who knows? Some Gen Zers out here. I don't know.
Oh my God. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's more. There's more threads that like just got my blood pressure up. This one. Okay. This girl says. Sorry, not girl. I'm sure she's a woman. But anyways, she says, sometimes what keeps me up at night is thinking how much I overpaid for my car. I put $25,000 down and I'm still paying on it. Like
Okay.
it's she says like it's a manageable $308 a month, but the interest is 12.99%. This is gonna last for a while and I hate it. And I bought it used.
I mean, I guess part of it would also, as someone who used to sell cars so long ago, I would need to know if she traded anything in. I mean, because
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't say, right? But if she traded something in that she was upside down on, like, you're essentially that down payment is probably mostly, if not half of it or whatever, going to just be taking care of what you were upside down on your previous vehicle. And then the remainder of it would go towards the principal of your account. And also, like,
but let's just say she didn't trade anything in. I don't understand. Could she not? I mean, granted, she didn't say what kind of car she drives, but I'm thinking $25K down payment, you could have bought, at least I don't know now in the market, because I know car prices even used are like ridiculous, but couldn't you essentially buy outright a used like little Kia for $25K? I don't.
Yes. No, I mean, 100%. Right? You could have just outright bought a car.
Yeah.
But also that 12.9%, like, that's, there you go. Like, that's why you're paying $300+ a month.
Or who knows how long you'll have this loan for.
If I had to guess, probably 5-6 years.
5 years.
Usually, yeah. They usually don't want to go longer unless something, like I said, I haven't done this in a long time, but with used cars specifically, they don't like to have the loan go more than 5 years. Because it's used. So at some point you might just be like, this thing broke down and I don't care anymore. I don't care about my credit. I'm just not going to pay for it. Right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, golly, what she should do is she needs to go and refinance that fucking loan and try and get off of that 12.9%.
12.99.
Yeah, yes. So you 13% interest. You need to go and somehow go to your local credit union, go start a GoFundMe, something. Just get that thing refinanced.
Girl, Jesus, that is, and I get she's like, it's only $300 a month, but like on top of what you already put, like, it just did not make any sense to me. And I'm like, oh no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's gotta be a little bit more to the story. Like, I guarantee, just based on those numbers, I guarantee you she had a previous car that she was upside down on. It just doesn't make sense to me any other way. Or it was like, she's like you were saying, it's a used car, but it's like a used Bugatti or something like that, right. Like something real extravagant.
Something like, I hope you're not driving like a Toyota Corolla, girl.
I call it a Lexus, okay?
Oh man, I'm trying to read like through these comments to see if she ever like tells people what kind of car she drives, but people are just kind of being rude and all like that either. Anyways, yeah.
I just want to, honestly, I also want to meet the salesman. Like, if she, because, I get it. When you buy a car, you get hyped up on the adrenaline and everything like that. You get excited, and then it hits you later on like, oh my God, I paid how much for that car? But that salesman must have been putting in some work to keep that excitement going. Be like, yeah, 25 down and only $300 a month for the next 5 years, and this is yours. Let's go.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Exactly.
God, I don't know why thinking about just having a car note gives me anxiety now. Like, I told Keith, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I got a new car? But then I think about it, I go, bitch, you don't have a car note. Like, we're not.
100%. 100%.
We're not. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, anyways, okay. Last thread.
Okay.
What's a food you swear people are only pretending to like?
So what are the comments on that one? Because the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head, and this was how I felt until I had it, was bone marrow.
Ooh, I don't think anyone has ever said bone marrow.
So yeah, that's one of those where I had it was something that only really fancy people had, and you know, because most restaurants don't have it. And so I went to a steakhouse and we had it one night, and it's just like, it's like savory butter, I guess. So it's not, I can understand why people like it, but that was the one where until I had it, I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no way people like putting that slimy ass stuff on bread. Come on. Like, and I had it and I was like, okay, I get it. I do. But still, even then, something, I don't know. Like, I can't think of anything that people are pretending to like.
Right. So I read the comments. A lot of them said oysters, like raw on the half shell.
Okay, I disagree there. Just because I think oysters are tasty, but I also like briny, salty stuff. Because I feel the same way. Other people would disagree with me on this. I feel the same way about capers. I like briny and salty, but I'm not a huge caper guy for whatever reason. I think it's because they're tiny. Okay. You know, they're tiny and it's, you know.
Yeah. Like, I love capers, but I hate olives.
Like regular olives, green olives, all olives?
All olives. All olives. I don't like them.
Interesting.
I don't know what it is. Not a fan, but capers, I love capers. I'll make one of those, like a chicken piccata with lots of capers in it. Fire. Like my lox and bagels with lots of capers. That's
where I forget about the capers, and then I'll order like lox and bagels somewhere.
And you're like, why the hell are these things on?
I was like, oh, I forgot about the goddamn capers. God damn.
Yeah, but no, and so yeah, I same with you though. I love oysters. Like, I'll pop them hoes and like nothing. Somebody said black licorice.
Okay, I could see that. I don't like black licorice at all. I think it's gross. Either. I don't like drinking Jägermeister. You know, if it didn't come with a Red Bull back in the day, I was not able to get it down willingly. That's a good, black licorice is definitely a good one.
Somebody said nobody actually likes sushi.
Oh, that's stupid. That's just dumb.
I think you just did that for trolling purposes and try to get engagement, because no.
Either that or this person is a child and still only eats like Kraft mac and cheese, you know, for every meal. Because here's the thing with sushi. I understand if maybe you're not a fan of the raw fish, but there's plenty of cooked options. So
like deep fried options, baked.
Yeah. So if you're just saying that, then I think you just, you know, you had one bad experience, or somebody made you try it when you didn't want to try it, and they gave you a piece of raw fish, and you were just like, no, I can't do it, never again.
Yeah. So I don't know. Interesting.
Any other foods
options? Somebody said caviar.
Okay, so that one I can understand, but I also think that when it comes to caviar, it depends on how you eat it. Okay? Because a lot of people, we see it gets put on a cracker, you eat the cracker, and then but there's other options. Like, I once had caviar and it was served with fried potatoes and sour cream. And when I had it like that, I was like, oh, I like this now, because, you know, the caviar, the little balls, like I understand it can be weird when it's like the texture in your mouth, when it's just that with like the cracker or whatever. But when you have it with the more substantial potato, and it's not like fries, like they would take a little baby potato, cut it in half and hole the middle of it out. So it's kind of like not a potato wedge, but like a little potato cup. like a little
Yeah,
itty bitty
yeah.
potato shot glass. And
Yeah,
then you
right.
would
Filled with.
well, fill with the sour cream, then you put the caviar on top, and yeah, that was so good. So
Interesting.
yeah, so I can understand why people would think that. But yeah, at the same time, oh, you know what I'm gonna say? Because I saw someone just got sick over it. The stupid puffer fish or blowfish that could kill you.
Oh.
So the blowfish is very toxic, right? But if you have it sliced in a very specific way, there's a spot on it that's not toxic. But it's about the oh, will I or won't I die kind of thing, which is why people still order it off the menu. No, you're only doing it for the adrenaline rush. There's no way that it tastes that much better.
No, it's probably just any other freaking fish. I don't know why. Yeah, no. Not a fan.
All right, we figured it out. The blowfish is the most overrated food.
Okay.
All right. So Judy, have you been paying attention to what's going on with your Dallas Cowboys?
Nope. I blocked them on Twix.
Why'd you block them?
Because I didn't want any negativity in my feed.
Oh my God.
That's what I do. On the off season, I will block them, and then I'll unblock them during the season.
So I just think, I kind of think at this point, Jerry just wants to fire McCarthy, but he doesn't want to fire him without cause.
Okay.
You know, like I think he's like, I don't know why, but because here's what's going on. You have two of your most important players not under contract. Okay.
Right.
You could technically say Micah, but if he got paid this year, that'd be like 2 years early or whatever. And that's not normally what the Cowboys do. So the two players we're talking about, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott, the quarterback. And this is his final year. After this year, he hits free agency. You cannot franchise tag him. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Dak is like a great quarterback, right? I would say if you did all the numbers, he's probably somewhere in the top 10. Okay? Let's say between 8 and 10. You know what? We'll do it real quick. We'll go Mahomes. We got Mahomes. We got Burrow. We got Allen. We got Lamar Jackson. Who do we have after that? You can honestly, after that, we could even slide him in there. We could say he's number 5. Okay. So you have, let's say, somewhere between 5 and 10, depending on your metrics. Right. And they haven't paid him. And this is something that's really unheard of. And because of everything that's going on now, if he starts the season without a new contract, he's going to go all the way through. He's going to hit free agency, and they're going to lose him because it's probably going to be something like $65 million a year. When you could have had him, if you just signed him last year, probably like $55-50 a year, something like that. Yep. So that's the first thing that's interesting. The second thing, and I think this is what's actually going to cause the downfall of your entire season, you haven't signed CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, who was responsible for like 90% of your offensive passing yards last year. That's an exaggeration, but it's not an absurd really. Well, so I don't know the actual numbers off the top of my head, but what I do know is that he had by himself 1,000 more yards receiving than the combination of everyone else on the team. So if everyone else on the team had 1,000 yards, he had 2,000 yards passing. It was a ridiculous stat like that. Yeah. And he was drafted by your team. He was developed by your team. And he is obviously one of the top 5 receivers in the league. So this is one of those where you would think, no brainer, we pay the man his money. But they won't. And a lot of the reports coming out are saying, well, they'll get it done like right before the season starts, blah, 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 right? The reason I think even if they do get it done right before the season starts, that your season is over as a result of just this hemming and hawing over it, he's going to get injured. And I don't mean like he's going to get hit in the head. No, he's going to pull his hammy, He's going to roll his ankle. It's going to be something because he hasn't been at training camp, hasn't been getting and I'm sure he's working out and doing all these things, but it is different. It's different when you don't have guys pulling on you, tugging on you, tripping you, all these things that can happen, not even on purpose, sometimes on accident. And we see it all the time where a guy doesn't go through training camp and then he has a soft tissue injury and it lingers for the rest of the season. So you have your number one option for all of your offense, and now he's probably going to get paid and then be hobbled through the entire season.
God, love that for us.
I don't understand. I don't understand why it just hasn't, because the numbers are there. We all know what it's going to take to get him. He knows. They've known since day one. Like, why are we taking so long with this? I can kind of understand with the Dak Prescott thing. If you don't think that, because even if you argue that he is a top 5, you can still argue, yeah, but he hasn't had too much success in the playoffs and he kind of shrinks. So why would we want to pay him all that extra money, blah, blah. So I can understand if you're hesitant on that and you'd rather maybe see what's going on with Trey Lance or, you know, hopefully maybe get like a Shedeur Sanders in the draft or something like that and start over. But yeah, this whole thing with CD, I do not understand what your team is doing.
Right. I don't know. I remember seeing reports of I think maybe when training camp opened, where I think Jerry said something so out of pocket. I think he said something like,
I believe he said, we're not in any rush to sign him.
Yes.
Something to that effect.
Something like that. Yes. And like, really, Jerry?
So I don't have it in front of me. CD saw that and quote tweeted it with just LOL.
He did, yeah. I saw his tweet, yes.
And then
it'll be a fun season, you know. never a dull season when you're a Cowboys fan.
Apparently. The other thing, because I don't want to belabor on the Cowboys too much, the other thing that's really it's been so annoying this time of the year when there's not a ton of football or sports news in general going on. The coverage of the Steelers. This is so stupid to me because every day it's just who's going to be the starter. Is it going to be Russell Wilson or is it going to be, I almost called him Justin Timberlake. Is it Justin Herbert? I don't remember hold on.
Justin Herbert's not with the Steelers?
You're right. Hold on. Steelers. See, I had it and now stupid Justin Timberlake is in my head.
Justin Fields?
Justin Fields. Thank you. So it'll be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields.
Okay.
And my opinion on it is just let Russ be the starter for the first couple of games. He's only costing you like $1.7 million because the majority of his salary is being paid by the Broncos. He's your more veteran guy. Even if he sucks, right? Even if he sucks, give him like 2-3 games, see what you can get out of it. And then if that doesn't work, put in Justin, because on the flip side, if you put in Justin and then have to go back to Russell, you're putting yourself in a disparaging position because you've now gone from someone who, let's say that their arm strength is equal. I do think Justin has a bit of a stronger arm, but let's just say that that's equal. What's not equal is the fact that Justin, especially the fact he's 10 years younger, is a much more dynamic athlete than Russell Wilson is. He's able to do stuff on the fly in a way that Russ hasn't been able to do in like 4 years now. So let Russ go, try to be a starter, see what happens. If it doesn't work out, unless the coach, and I don't even think that this is anything coming from the Steelers. I think this is just like, we don't have anything to talk about. And this is the only quarterback battle going on. So we're going to talk about it over and over again, which is what sucks about sports news, if you want to call it that, or talking heads or whatever nowadays. But yeah, you let him start. You go for a couple of games, you see what happens, and then if you have to, you give the reins over to Justin Fields. He's not going to be so much better. Like he gives you more of a chance to win, in my opinion, because of all the extra attributes physically that he has. But he's not good at processing. Right. So it's not like you're saying, well, we're going to put Russ on the bench so that we can have this guy who has super high potential in every single aspect of it. No, he has super high potential physically, but mentally he still needs to be developed or hopefully developed if maybe he's just hit where he's at. But the fact that every single day I have to hear about this stupid quarterback battle, like, what are we doing, guys? Is there anything else? Can't you just go? Can Aaron Rodgers go on another darkness retreat, please, so that we can have that in the news rather than this? This is, it's terrible.
Has there been any news about him? I feel like it's been very quiet. But also, I don't see much news on my feeds these days of sports.
So there was some drama with the New York Rob Salas because. Before training camp started, there was a mandatory mini camp that Aaron just didn't go to because he was on vacation. And rather than doing the thing that most teams do where it's like, oh yeah, we knew Aaron wasn't going to be here, blah, blah. Rob was like, yeah, no, it's not excusable. This is not cool. Essentially, he's like, this is not a good thing. And then later on, when Aaron came back, everybody was like, "No, yeah, it's fine. Everything's good." It's just,
oh God.
It's just one of those things where, and they're not having Aaron play at all in the preseason. It seems like so. I can't wait to have another 4 snaps, and then his whole season's over again.
God, let's hope not. But like. Yeah.
I don't know. That's going to be a team to watch like 7 games in to see where they're at, to see like, cause if they start like, let's say 1-6 or something. Oh, here's the other thing. You're not having him play at all in the preseason. Do you know who the first team that they play on opening night is?
Who?
The 49ers. That defense is going to put him into retirement. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Golly. Nicky Bosa coming off the edge. Fred Warner hitting him in the face. Like, it's gonna be an interesting
Ooh, is that a primetime game?
I believe it's the season opener. So.
Oh, really?
I think.
Like the Thursday game?
If it's not, then it's just the Jets opener. What's the season opener then?
I mean, although the Jets and the Niners game is a Sunday night game, but it's
okay. So
let me see. Sorry, I guess I should have looked. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared.
I threw a curveball.
I know. I wasn't prepared. Schedule. Week 1. The home opening game is Ravens at Chiefs.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. That makes sense. The Chiefs always get the opening.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I think that if they somehow like go 1-6 to start, we're going to see just mass firings. I think Salah's on the hot seat. I know that the offensive coordinator, Nat Hackett, is on the hot seat because they tried to replace him in the offseason and then just, I don't know what happened, but they just couldn't because I think they tried to replace him, but not fire him.
Oh.
Right. So I think, so that just didn't happen. And then also if Rodgers doesn't have, I'm not saying that he needs to be at MVP level, but if he doesn't have if he's not exceptionally better than at quarterback than what they've had over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Then everything's just gonna. Then the owners will be like, "What the hell have we been sucking his dick for? What? Why?"
Yeah.
So that like I said, I don't know if that's going to be a team that I want to watch week in, week out because that took years off my life last year. But it's definitely going to be something interesting to see. Halfway through the season, just to see what's going on and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. So. coming up. It's usually my favorite time of the year, and
Are you gonna unblock the Cowboys when football season starts?
yes, I will unblock them when it starts.
Okay. Before we get out of here, was it our last episode? Did we talk about RDJ on our last episode, or was that the one before that?
Maybe it was the one before our last break. Yeah.
Either way. A couple episodes ago, we talked about how RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., is going to be the new villain in the upcoming Avengers movies, playing Doctor Doom. And I talked about how I thought that this was probably not the best idea. I mean, right. I liked it in the moment. You got all excited. You're like, oh my God, they're bringing it back.
Oh, yeah.
But, once I thought about it, I was like, I don't know if this is the best idea. They probably could have gone another direction. It feels like they're trying to hold on to nostalgia rather than trying to make something new and fresh. Mm-hmm. And for anyone who wasn't aware, the villain that was being replaced by Robert Downey Jr. was Jonathan Majors' Kang. They set him up in Quantumania. He was in the Loki television show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they were setting him up to be like the Thanos of this, Avenger or this section. Yeah.
Right.
Where, multiple movies and series devoted to him being the villain so that they could take him down at the end. And then all of his stuff transpired where he told a white woman to be more like Coretta Scott King.
Yeah.
And he was on video assaulting her. I think we could say he was on video assaulting her. But if not, allegedly, just in case, because I'm not trying to get sued. And he lost the role. Right. And then, a couple weeks ago, he did an interview saying how he was bummed out. Well, he was happy that RDJ got the role. He kept calling him Mr. Downey. In the interview, he kept calling him Mr. Downey.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Just because you don't hear anyone ever refer to him like that, and so it was a weird thing to be reading.
Right.
He was excited that he was getting that role. He said obviously he's going to kill it. He's a great actor. But the thing that stuck out to both me and Judy was that he was upset, and it's in type, so you can't ever know the context of how he meant to be saying it, but he was upset that he hadn't gotten his second chance the same way that RDJ had gotten his second chance with the Marvel franchises. Mm-hmm. And to that, I would say, bro, seriously? Like, I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve a second chance, but for him to say that I didn't get a second chance the way that, it's not like RDJ went to rehab and immediately got a second chance. Like, there was time in between.
That's what I was thinking. And I go, this whole Jonathan Majors thing happened 2023. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's been a year and a half. It hasn't even been 2 years, bro. And you're here talking about second chances.
Well, and also let's put everything in perspective, okay? He didn't get a second chance to go and do a $500 million movie, and then they're like, all right, we're giving you this chance. Don't mess this up. No, they let him be Iron Man because it was still, comic book movies at that time were still kind of like, oh, is this what we're doing? Right. We had the first X-Men, the second X-Men, which was cool. We had done the Raimi Spider-Man movies, which they hold up, but not in the way that they should for a movie.
True. Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, if you go back and watch them, they're so campy, and they're awesome movies to watch, but it's not like you go back and you're like, oh yes, this is cinema. Oh, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
Comic book movies were still kind of like, ugh. at that moment. I mean, The Incredible Hulk was just terrible. Not The Incredible Hulk, The Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was
Eric Bana.
Yes, the Eric Bana Hulk movie was just objectionably terrible. So yeah, he got a second chance, but he got a second chance in a movie that it was like, we don't know if this is going to work out.
Yeah.
So you gotta take your time, and you gotta, just disappear for a while. Like, I think he's done a decent enough job of that, to be honest. I haven't really heard much about him. I've seen his girl Megan Good doing some interviews, but I haven't seen him doing anything. So I think he is doing a good job of just kind of being gone for a while. Right. But that's what you gotta do. You just gotta go away, and then you make a couple of lower budget things. You get your views up or whatever, and then they give you another chance. Like, that's how this system works.
Yeah.
So for you to be like, man, I didn't get my second chance. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Right. And it's not like Robert Downey Jr. did it overnight. I mean, so the first Iron Man came out in 2008. I want to say,
Something like that.
I was like a junior or senior in high school. And I mean, to be fair, like, I didn't know who Robert Downey Jr. was until I saw Iron Man. But that's because I also didn't watch like any of his previous, like in the 80s type things. But,
right.
It's like, so I don't know. He just caught a good break. And I just don't know why he's saying like it just happened overnight for him, which I'm pretty sure it didn't, because he was in trouble like most of the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. His career was ostensibly over, and he got a second chance after just not doing dumb shit for a while.
Like
sometimes,
a decade later.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to take time and be like, all right, I just got to focus and do some good stuff, and then hope that something good happens out of this. Not expecting immediately to be like, oh yeah, here's your second chance.
Yeah. And maybe it's I don't know how old Jonathan Major is. Maybe it's his millennial mentality where it's like instant gratification, like right now.
I don't, okay, maybe that could be it. To me, he just seems like, with everything that's going on, he just seems like the kind of guy that he kind of expects life to be handed to him. And that's probably not the best way to put it. Because I'm not saying that he hasn't worked hard and all that kind of stuff to get where he was, but just, how when like a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, right? They just expect things to be done the way that they want to be done, because that's kind of how things have always gone for them. And I think that up until this point, Jonathan Majors, he had seen so much success in such a rapid amount of time.
Very true.
That he just kind of thought like, oh, this is how things are going to be for me. Right. Yeah. So, and then I also get, he's probably like, well, in his mind, he probably still doesn't think he did anything wrong. As far as everything that happened with his ex and all that stuff. So, I can understand where the thought process comes from. I completely disagree with it, And this is also speaking for, I didn't get a second chance at my job, okay? I was done. But it's the same thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here bitch and moan about it. I'm just going to move on and then try and be better and try and be accountable. I think that's the biggest thing about the whole thing, is that he comes off as not sounding accountable for his own actions.
Right. Yes.
Right.
I think I see. Yeah.
So, and that's probably what he will need to do in order to get that second chance. He's probably going to have to go to some producer and be like, yeah, look, I shouldn't have put my hands on that white girl. That's why I only date the black ladies now. Okay. I love my queens, and I can't, and they keep me in check. No more chalk, no more mayo, okay? and at that point, someone will be like, all right, cool. Looks like you've grown, you've learned your lesson, and you're someone that we can put, because the issue in hiring a Jonathan Majors at this point is not his acting ability, right? Because he's still an amazing actor. It is the interviews that he will do in promoting the movie. Right. So every interviewer Okay, fine. You can tell most of them to be like, hey, don't bring this up, right?
Right.
But at some point, that's not going to work because that's what the people in general want to hear about. So someone's going to be asking him. And then when that sound comes out, whether it's a TMZ or just a regular interview or whatever, that's when you're going to hear, ooh, he has not changed at all. And then your movie tanks, and that's it, right? So that's really that's really why he needs to figure out his stuff so that he can make movies again. So that when he has that interview, he's not like, I mean, I really don't see the problem with calling her saying that she should be Coretta Scott King. I don't understand that. I am a great man, so
exactly.
All right, that does it for this week's episode of A Conversation with Judy and Ryan. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for once again letting me use this as a therapy session to trauma dump on everything that's happened over, the last couple months / weeks of my life. I'm really hoping, because I tried to be in a great mood this week. My energy was so much, even though it was really low for what I usually give you guys, it was so much higher than it's been in my house. So I hope you guys understand that I am trying my hardest to give you guys the most entertainment possible. And I just want to let you know I do appreciate you for being here, for supporting the show, for everything. But until the next time we do this thing, bye.
Bye.